Welcome to the Crunch Time Instagram Live podcast, hosted by me, Benjamin Bullock. This podcast features nothing but real talk analysis and conversations about sports, entertainment, news, and much more. Now, strap in and buckle your seatbelts because it's time for Crunch Time. What's cracking, y'all? What's cracking? What's going on? Long time no see. Thank y'all for joining me on tonight's episode of the Crunch Time Instagram Live podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin Bullock. This is season 2, episode 5, and tonight's episode I'm very excited about. I got my girl Teri Ijeoma stopping through to talk about stocks, investments, money, whatever the case is, man. I'm very excited about this because this has been a very hot topic, especially for me and across the country, man, in terms of what people can do with the money. And, you know, obviously this past year and some change has been definitely a difficult one for a lot of people in terms of finances. And, you know, obviously what happened earlier this year with AMC, Robinhood, and that kind of thing. You know, in that entire situation, you know, it kind of drove people up a wall and had a lot of people's arms up in the air. So, and also caused a lot of controversy. So I'm just excited about this particular episode. So for those who are joining me for the first time, this particular podcast, we talk about numerous different topics, whether it's, well, for example, this week we're talking about stocks, but previously, you know, I cut my bread and butter with sports, and we also cover entertainment. We talk about a little politics and a little bit of everything else. So I'm just excited about this episode. Once this is over, make sure I subscribe to the Crunch Time Instagram Live podcast on Spotify, Apple, and also YouTube and everything. So I'm just really excited. So throughout the show, this is a very interactive podcast, FYI. So if y'all have any questions, go ahead and drop it right in the comment section throughout the show, and we're going to get going. So I'm going to actually add Teri right now.
Teri.
Hello, how are you?
What's going on, girl? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm just glad we finally was able to shake off that winter storm we had down here.
Right. I actually just talked to Pastor Carter. I was like, how can I help? And she told me that there's some churches I could help give to, so I'm excited to help with that.
Oh man, you know you family at Concord. You're very well loved, very well received with our congregation at Concord down here in Dallas, Texas.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but did you know I've been knowing Pastor Carter since high school, since I was in 9th grade.
I did not know that. I learn something new every day.
I grew up at Concord and was in the youth ministry when Pastor Brown was the youth pastor.
Yeah.
And I've been there, since high school. So wow. That's my church. I love it to death.
That's crazy, man. So for those who aren't familiar with Concord is probably one of the biggest historically black churches in the city of Dallas, Texas. I work there as a content producer, and there's the senior pastor is Pastor Brian Carter, who does a phenomenal job throughout the city and the entire state and the country in terms of leading this congregation, also not only through church, but also through the community. And Teri, you can definitely attest to that.
Yes, Pastor Carter is like, I absolutely love him. He's a servant in all different areas. He just wants to serve the city, which I love.
Yeah. He's phenomenal, man. So Teri, let's hop into this thing. You know, number one, congratulations on all the success that you've had as an investor, trader, entrepreneur, and everything like that. So before we even get into all of that, you know, you were an educator at first. You know, I know you were at the elementary level, then you worked your way up as an assistant principal. So talk to me a little bit about that journey going from there to where you are right now.
Yeah, so actually I started as an assistant principal.
Oh, okay,
so
I'm sorry.
No problem. After MIT, I ended up working for Teach for America,
yeah.
I worked in consulting, and one of our clients was Teach for America. So that's kind of how I got into the education route.
Right.
But at TFA, I helped train teachers. And then later in my journey, like I went to actually DTS and seminary, then went to ministry. But I was hired on immediately as assistant principal at the school that I founded.
That's great.
Yes. But then it was crazy. So if anybody's worked at a school before, you know that like it can be rough.
Yeah.
So I needed an exit strategy, and I picked up in college I had like interned on Wall Street.
Yeah.
So I picked up those skills from interning on Wall Street and had been trading on the side. So when I went to leave the school, I decided to trade full time.
Wow. That's such a great, opportunity in a road that you were able to take to get out of education full time, because, a lot of people are stuck and to be able to take that leap to get into investment and training. So what made you want to take that leap in terms of go full head of steam with that?
I needed an exit strategy. It was either I'm going to trade or I'm going to just be broke on the side. I'm going to have unemployment, which is fine. Because like right now you make more in unemployment sometimes than working. So
That's true.
my cousin is like, I'm not going back to work anytime soon. Uh, but I was either gonna be on the side of the street or I needed to make something work, and so I needed to make trading work because I didn't want to be at that school anymore.
Right.
So that's really where I was when I left.
That's awesome, man. That's such a phenomenal story, man. Speaking of trading, you started your trade and travel program, which is really just had a lot of success in terms of really breaking down the steps in order to learn about stocks and trading, and even with that success, I mean, you've been on Yahoo Finance, Black Enterprise, Fox News, CBS, and NBC. So tell me a little about how you were able to develop that plan that's gone literally viral across all social platforms.
So I actually created the course that I wish I had when I was first starting.
Yeah.
I had been trading. So altogether now I've been trading for 11 years, but I had been trading for 6 years before I was able to start getting consistent. And that was literally after I had taken some courses. So when I was first trading those first 6 years, I was trying to figure it out by myself, and I was failing. Like, I was watching CNBC, I was watching Jim Cramer and trying to do all the things, but I was losing money.
Yeah.
And then when I took the courses and then started putting it together with what I had been doing over the years, it finally started to click. So when I started making the course and thinking of, okay, well, what would I have needed? I needed somebody to teach me how to pick better companies, because the companies I was picking weren't working. like clearly that was a problem.
Yeah.
Then I needed someone to teach me how to do risk management, because I had too many trades where I was losing too much. And they had they say stick with it. It's okay for it to be red. Just, hold on. But these trades kept going down and didn't seem like they were turning around. So I wish somebody had taught me risk management so that I could have saved a lot more money.
Yeah.
Then going into charts, like, I didn't know that there was a way to figure out a better time to get into a stock. Like up until, like I said, up until like year number 7, I thought that if it was a good company, you just get in any time. And that's not true. There's actually better times to get in and out of a stock for you to be successful. So when I started thinking about the course, I literally was thinking, what are all the things I wish I had known when I was first starting to trade that I could tell people now that I'm more successful?
Yeah. I think just for me, I'm still in the beginning stages a little bit. I just bought my first few stocks like maybe about a year ago. A lot of my buddies were hopping into it, and I finally had the excess income. I was able to all right, let me just hop in there, just took my toe in the water and just see what happens, man. So, your program, and I'm actually going to hop in that program after talking to a friend of mine, who was actually taking your program or whatever. So I'm actually going to hop in that. So, the last 12 to 14 months, the stock market has been so up and down, you know what I mean? So how have you been able to adapt to everything that's been happening?
So the cool thing is, another part of the course is I teach how to make money on the way down. Yeah. So you can actually make money in either direction, going up or going down. As long as you're able to read that chart, it actually tells you when the stock is going to stop rising and start kind of going down a little bit. And then they'll say when it's going to stop falling and start going up.
Right.
You can make money on both. So like when I get into good positions, that I'm entering the trades. And then also when it looks like it's gotten to a place where I'm selling, I can make money on that side too. Yeah. So that's a little bit of the way I've been adapting. And then I've also been diversifying. So I do stocks, options, and then now I started recently doing a little bit of crypto. So it's been
explain
to
people what crypto is for the beginners who are just kind of tuning in for the first time.
Sure. So I bought some Bitcoin recently and I bought some Ethereum. Now, I'll tell you, I'm not an expert on those things. So if anybody reaches out and says something about crypto, that was not me, because I'm a baby in that world. But we know that it has been jumping and rising lately. Yeah. Last year it was like 11,000, 18,000. Now it's 50,000. So we know that it's been a great asset class. So I'm a trader. That's what I do. So I've been trading.
and you do it very well.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem. This is Teri Ijeoma, executive financial person, in terms of trades and everything. So she's doing a phenomenal job. If y'all have any questions for her, go and drop it in the comment section. I'll be able to get those answered for you. So Teri, as we continue on with this wonderful interview, and I'm definitely learning a lot too, because like I said, I'm a little bit of a novice when it comes to this stuff. So how does it take for how long does it take for the average person to get started in trading stocks?
Great question. And thank you. Shout out to Sherry B. She said that the course is amazing, that she joined it, her and her daughter. Oh, that's awesome. But so how long does it take to get started?
Yeah.
I think so. The course itself is 8 weeks, and I think you can learn the material in 8 weeks, but you got to give yourself about a year to get consistent.
Yeah.
Because in the market, a big part of becoming a good trader is actually learning kind of the ebbs and flow of the stock you're trading. How much does it go up on a good day? How much does it go down on a bad day? Like a lot of that is actually just experience. So it takes, I think, about a year to really become consistent at it, but it takes a couple months to learn it.
I got you. We got a question from what was her name, was moving towards natural. Actually, that was going to be my next question to you. Is there a best way for beginners to start investing in options? Yeah.
So first, I would say learn the stock first, because options are just 100 shares of a stock, but it's a contract. But in order for you to really make money on the option, you need to know how the underlying stock trades. Because they're going to ask you, well, what strike price do you want? Which means like, what stock price do you want? They're going to ask you, how long do you want to be in this trade when you're signing up for options? But you got to know how to actually trade the underlying stock first. So I think the prerequisite is learning stocks and then jump into options.
That's great advice. We got a question from Philip _ the insurance guy. Says, what's a good stock you recommend as of today?
So Philip, I recommend you learn how to trade charts before you just ask for a random stock pick.
Yeah, there you go.
I like the payment processor stocks. So I still like tech. Recently, because the interest rates have been rising, the stocks have been falling. But this, I think, is a buying opportunity. I think there were a lot of stocks that were at super high prices, and this is the time to like write that down so that you can start picking up some of those really great stocks at lower prices. But the things that I've been really liking is as the world starts opening up, people are still going to need something to pay for their travels and pay for their expenses. So like I've been really, and this is a disclaimer, everything educational. I'm not telling you what to do, but like I've been really liking like the Visas of the world and the PayPals because like everybody needs a way to transact money no matter what you do. So.
I got you. So what if you could build the perfect portfolio for somebody? You know, what would that look like? Would it be one in tech, one in entertainment, one in merchandise? What would it be? How would you build out that perfect portfolio?
Ooh, and I wish that I had my watch list. So I have a watch list of about 30 stocks that I trade. And how about this? After this, look out, y'all. Just look out in my bio the rest of the week. I will put up a link where you can sign up to get the watch list. But for me, a lot of my portfolio is tech. But I will say that I really like the gaming space a lot. So I look into like the Activision and the Take-Twos of the world. I like some food, basically Chipotle. I just like. I like.
I had them last night too.
See, you can invest in what you eat. I'm just saying. I like. So the software companies are always going to be important, and the semiconductors. So I think it's important that you think about like the Salesforce and Adobe's of the world. Like all companies need what they have, and they're kind of software in the background. So think about them, but then also think about the chips. Like the semiconductors are just chips that go in your phone and stuff. So I'm still tech heavy, but just different sectors of tech.
Love it. You mentioned watch lists, and that just immediately a light bulb went up my head about my Robinhood account. And we and you're gonna really get to take action on my Twitter account. So what's your take on everything? How everything played out between GameStop, Robinhood, AMC, and all that kind of stuff? All those companies that were involved.
Yep. So and can you hear me? Because it froze on my side.
I got you. I can hear you.
Okay. So a short squeeze is just when you get a lot of people buying a stock that had a lot of like selling interest in there.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is it makes everybody now have to buy at higher prices. And
Right.
we have more buyers, it just keeps pushing the stock price up.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like that's what they orchestrated. So
Right.
how do I feel about it? I feel like one, it was a work of art that they were able to do it.
Yeah.
So part of me is a little like like wow, that's
Yeah.
impressive, like just
Mm-hmm.
impressed. But on the flip side, the companies themselves were not healthy companies, and so I
Right.
feel a little disappointed for the people who got caught in it
Mm-hmm.
because it's not a healthy stock. And so one of my first principles is I want you to invest in things that are healthy, companies that we know are going up and have like an upward trend, the companies that we know have a good future.
Mm-hmm.
So like for people that are thinking like, oh, GameStop is going up again, let me get in. No, stay away from companies that are not healthy. Don't trade penny stocks. Like you want
Mm.
the best company in a sector is where you really want to be trading.
Love it. Love that answer. Love that answer. This is an interesting question right here, especially since they have a lot of spam accounts, and you actually got spam not too long ago. Nita says, "How about forex trading? What are your thoughts about forex?"
You know, I have a friend, and I'm trying to think of her account name because I would shout her out. I have a friend that actually teaches forex, and for her, like the whole asset class of forex is just the difference between currencies. And because I'm a traveler, I get it.
Yeah.
Like if I go to Mexico right now and take the dollar, I'll get this many pesos.
Yeah.
But if the value of the dollar changes when I get home, I may not get all my money back. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
literally what they're doing, just looking at the differences between currencies in
Mm-hmm.
forex market. So that's it's a valid market,
Yeah.
but a lot of people when they say they're teaching forex, they're just doing like MLM marketing and they're not
Mm-hmm.
teaching anything. And so
Yeah.
that's where it gets messy. I don't if anybody tells you the way you'll make money is by recruiting somebody else, that's wrong. Like
Mm.
it's not really the market at all.
Mm. Love it. Love it. Love it. That's really good advice. I got another question for you. Oh, that was actually that one right there. So, this one's from Jada. She says, I don't know if you can see that on your screen. Thoughts on those two accounts that she has? The very last one to comment on there.
Jada, I don't actually trade those two, so I don't have
Hmm.
any thoughts for you.
What are those?
Because my,
Because
my
I
watch
don't,
list is short.
yeah, I don't even know what those are. What are those accounts? I don't even know.
It looks like they're ticker symbols, so she'd have to tell us what the companies are.
Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. Cool, cool, cool. Well, Terry, I'm enjoying myself. I don't know about you. I'm learning so much. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm gonna take a class and everything. So if y'all have any questions for her, continue to drop it in the comment section. So Terry, obviously March is Women's History Month, and you've accomplished so much throughout your life. Graduating from MIT, getting your master's in communication from Dallas Theological Seminary. No, I'm sorry. Is it Dallas
Yeah,
Theological Seminary?
it is. You're right.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I was right. Okay, cool. So, you accomplished so much. So, what's it feel like? Do you ever sit back like, look, I've really accomplished a lot. I'm trying to figure out what's next, or anything like. Do you sit back and do that sometimes, or are you always on the go, which I feel like you are?
Well, you called me out. I am always on the go. You're right.
Yeah.
But actually, lately, I have been doing a little bit of just thinking like, okay, I accomplished the goals that I originally had. The
Hmm.
first one was, okay, can I make $1 million? And I did that. And then the next,
Congratulations.
thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And then the next one was, well, I want to make eight figures, which is 10 million, and I did that. And so then it was like, okay, well now what? What do you do
Yeah.
next?
Yeah.
Is this what this is supposed to feel like? Like, okay.
Yeah.
So now I have been trying to think through new goals.
Hmm.
And one thing I can say I really got excited about was I got excited about giving lately. Like
Mm.
this year, I've given over $500,000 to charity and nonprofit.
That's lovely because it'll come
And
right back to you. That's right.
amen. Say that again. I receive it. Um, and shout out to Bonnie too. She said she's joining the course. Shout out to hey Bonnie, welcome. Um, but I think that's another piece. Like
Yeah.
I was watching how I like how I would feel heading to the
Hmm.
bank to give the checks and I actually was giddy the whole time. Like I was super excited, I was
Yeah.
smiling, I was laughing. So I think that's the next piece of this. Like how do you effectively give to impact the most people possible?
Yeah.
And so now it's like, okay, we make more money so we can give more money, and
Hmm.
that's cool. I'm excited about that.
And then, so let me just back up a little. You said you've made 7 figures and 8 figures mostly through trading, correct?
Well, I would say all my businesses. I have
Ooh,
several
all everything.
businesses.
Okay.
Yeah, so all of them together.
So you got trade and travel. You got what else you got? Run through them for me.
So number one job is I'm a trader.
Yeah.
So I'm a trader, and yeah, I've done well already this year trading.
Hmm.
Then I'm a teacher, so I
Hmm.
teach the trade and travel, and a founder, so a CEO of
Yeah.
Trade and Travel. So I own a school and operate the trade and travel program.
Love it.
Um, I'm also in real estate, so I'm
Hmm.
a landlord and also a realtor.
Come
So
on now. Hey, I do
yeah.
real estate content, by the way. Just to plug myself, I do real estate content. FYI.
Oh, cool. Okay, we're gonna have to
Yeah.
do something together with real
Yeah.
estate.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, so I'm in real estate, and then just there's other things, affiliates and partnerships that have come
Yeah.
my way. So it's been really interesting to grow and see
That's
kind of
good.
all the streams.
That's
Mm-hmm.
great. That's great. Hey Terry, you my role model. I'm trying to get like you out here. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to get like you because your hair is beautiful.
Oh,
So
hey, you know.
man, mine over here, I'm like, man, his is all tiny and curly and stuff.
I actually got to plug my wife's hair and skincare line, man. So Joe Bell's Naturals. Yeah, she has her own hairstylist line and everything like that. It's mainly for kids, but I ain't no kid, but you see, it does wonders on my hair. So I'm gonna plug you in.
Yes,
I'm gonna plug you in after this. Everybody plug
please.
it. Definitely. So our house is a daycare because I got a 2 year, well, almost a 2 year old at home. Our house is a slash daycare slash office slash factory. So yeah, it's
Wait,
wild over there.
plug it one more time so my people can hear. So it's
Yeah.
and how do they get it?
So if you go to you look her up on Instagram, it's called Joe Bell Naturals. It's actually named after our daughter. And if y'all go over there, y'all can see everything. It's all natural hair care products, vegan made, makes it right here in the house. As you can see, my hair, my curls, they looking pretty
Yes,
decent right now.
your curls
Scalp
are
is,
popping.
thank you, trying. You know what I mean? So yeah, so she does a great job, and she's plugged it out to a lot of places. She just started early this year. She launched in like December or January, I think, what it was, and she's had a lot of success with it.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Please tell her I need her help.
I
And
got
I'm
you. I
gonna go
got you.
buy some. Everybody go buy some of her products to help
There
her.
you go. You better play that thing, Terry.
Yes, that's like to me, that's the fun part. Like, really,
Yeah,
when you ask me, kind of like, what's the next thing? Like, I love working with other businesses.
yeah,
I love like being around other business owners. I
yeah,
very much like I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a
hmm,
content creator. Like, that's just where my mind goes.
yeah, yeah.
So anything to help another sister, yes,
Oh
let's
yeah,
go.
I got you. I got you. Well, we appreciate it. I got a couple more questions for you. This one's from Sleep 31. He says, "Any thoughts on Cheesecake Factory stock?" He said he was watching CNBC this morning. That's an interesting question.
Did they have earnings? Let me know. Did they have earnings?
Mm,
And then with Cheesecake Factory, there is a brand who, like, there's a stock brand, and I don't want to say them wrong, but I believe they own Red Lobster. Is it
mm.
the same one that owns Cheesecake Factory, Red Lobster?
And Olive
Um,
Garden and Lone Star and all of them.
yeah,
It
like
might
it's
be.
one company that owns
Uh,
all of them.
I think Cheesecake Factory and it's a place in Chicago. It's exactly like Cheesecake Factory. I can't. True Lux Kitchen.
True Love.
True Lux.
Wait, is
That's
it
what it is.
True Love? Yes, those
It's
two
True
are
Lux.
owned by the same.
Yeah.
Darden, thank you. So yep.
Hmm.
So thank you everybody in the chat is saying it's Darden. So if you're thinking about getting into the food industry, you might want to think about them because they own a lot of different restaurants. But to tell you the truth, I don't actually follow the food sector as well as
Yeah.
I could. But I would say if we were just thinking about the reopening stocks,
Yeah.
that would be one that I'd go for with reopening. But like I said, I'm a technical analysis trader, so I have to go look at their chart to really say
Hmm.
what I thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Love it. This is from Miss Define. This is a really good question, especially you as an educator. Do you see this ever making its way to high schools? I think that's a very good question because the only thing I learned business wise and money wise, I took like a business concepts class at Rich Central in Chicago and the Olympia Fields, Illinois. Shout out to anybody in my high school who went. And pretty much all I can remember is that we learned how to write checks. We didn't learn anything about the stock market or anything like that. So do you see this possibly, making it to high schools and middle schools to, because I feel like that would be a great asset to learn this type of stuff when you're 17 or 18 years old and can set you up down the road.
Yes. And I actually gave some money towards that too, to building curriculums in high schools.
Yeah.
So yes, I do think that this is something that can go towards high school. I first learned about stocks my junior year going into senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Like that's when I learned about it. And
Mm-hmm.
then my senior year is when Google IPO'd. So just think how
Mm.
many students in high school would be so like set up so well if they had been part of some of the like major IPOs that came out the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So yes, I would love to see this curriculum in high schools. If anybody out there is someone who could help me with that, like let me know. But yes, I
Yeah.
would love to see it there.
Love it, love it. I'm actually a college professor myself, taught at 2 universities. So shout out to Delaware State University and University UNT Dallas out here in Dallas. Well, so I definitely agree with you in terms of as early as we can get them people started on this kind of stuff, be for the better.
Yeah.
So, so
There
we
was
got to.
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was going to ask a question. Go ahead, Terry. You got it.
There was a guy at MIT, and I used to like I was best friends with his roommate. So I'd go over there all the time and hang out, and he'd always be on his computer. And I still remember him. He had white hair. He looked kind of like a surfer boy. He was a white guy, but he would always be at his computer.
Yeah.
And he actually found out that the reason why he was always on his computer is because he was trading to afford his tuition at MIT.
Wow.
And so if we could teach our kids young enough how to trade, like that could be them. Like they could trade to afford their college or even decide they don't want to go to college.
Yeah,
but at least they'd have the option, right?
Yeah.
Have to do it.
Yeah, I love that because to me, I think I ain't gonna say college is overrated, but I think if some people, I mean, the tone or the advice to people, everybody gives, oh, you got to go to college. Well, not necessarily, because if you think a lot of people who are successful billionaires, a lot of them dropped out or they didn't even go to college. They just kind of started their own business and kind of took advantage from there.
Yeah, I think that it really depends what kind of person you are.
That's it.
Like I'm in real estate and in investing, and technically you don't need a degree for either one of those.
Right.
So I could say like, well, dang, I just wasted all this money. But then at the same time, the partnerships and relationships that I have, I think that's the part that's like priceless. Like the people you get to meet. Like how else would you meet those same people and have those experiences?
Right.
So.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. And you won't be able to pledge like I did in college. So
right, that's what I'm saying. Like fraternities, sororities, just groups and like different experiences. I studied abroad. Like I wouldn't have been able to study abroad if I didn't go to college. So it's cool.
Love it. We got a question from Dan Demon 426. He says, "Do you recommend a particular trading app?" That's a really good question.
I do. So I still like TradeStation as an online broker. A lot of the brokers recently, I will tell you guys, have been glitching a little bit just because a lot of people have been running away from Robinhood after Robinhood had glitches and then stopped letting people trade. They were leaving Robinhood and going to more robust brokers. So a lot of the bigger brokers have been having this influx of people and having to like really like up their software game. But I still like TradeStation a lot as an online broker. And then just other things I think are cool. I think look up Earning Whisperer, follow them on IG. I think they don't spell Whisperer all the way out. It's like WHPS. But just, look them up. They give the earnings for every week. When companies are reporting how they're doing, they give out earnings calendars. That's really important because then you can kind of see, well, what are the stocks that are important enough to be recognized on this calendar, and that'll give you some ideas and new companies. There's an app called Rapunzel, and they actually let you trade fake money. So they don't spell their name all the way out either. I don't know why everybody like try to be special, but Rapunzel Rapunzl is how they do it. So Rapunzl. I think I'm spelling it right, but look up Rapunzel with the ZL at the end. They give $10,000 and let you trade with fake money. And then one more app I would say is TradingView. TradingView is a one where they also let you trade in a simulator, but TradingView looks a lot like TradeStation. So you get a chance to practice your charting and
Hmm.
things on TradingView, and
Okay.
then take fake trades. So yeah.
Okay. That's great, man. Terry, I'm telling you, I'm learning so much just in this 30-minute conversation. You know
Good.
what
I
I
talk
mean?
too much too, so be free to
Nah,
say,
nah, nah.
Terry, shut up. Okay, next
Hey,
question.
nah. This is perfect. Hey, if y'all want to watch this again, it'll be on my IG live and it'll also be on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. So make sure y'all subscribe to the Crunch Time Instagram Live podcast on all three of those platforms. So it's another question from Moving Towards Natural. She says, I'm just starting in this whole thing. She says, Wealth Simple or Quest Trade? I don't know what those are. Those are trading apps, I'm assuming, or
Hmm. I think honestly, I would go for a more well-known broker. Like, so
okay.
I still do TradeStation, Interactive Brokers, TD Ameritrade are the ones that I like. You might be. Tell me if you're in Canada. If you're thinking Quest Trade, that works well in Canada. So yes, I have heard of them a lot from my Canadian students.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. I got a question from my man Anthony Mentor, who actually is a member of Concord as well. He says, "Do you see Cinemark and AMC bouncing back in stocks after COVID?"
So, so here's the thing. Anytime you think about a company, you have to think about also the debt and how long it'll take them to come back. So
Mm-hmm.
I do think that people will come back to the movies. However, when we had those stretches where nobody was coming to the movies, they were having to still pay for their buildings and pay for all their real estate, which
Yeah.
was really taking down their balance sheets.
Right.
So I think that it's going to take them some time to really become profitable, but this
Mm-hmm.
is just me without doing all the research. So, do I think that it's worth investing in now? If I was trading it, I'd say no. I'd go for one of the other companies that wasn't as impacted and
Mm-hmm.
then look back at AMC, Cinemark maybe a year from now. But that's
Mm-hmm.
just my personal trading philosophy.
Love it. I have another question for you. This is for me. So say if like somebody just completely just bombed out in the market or whatever, and they were forced to start over. What's the minimal amount you would prefer to get restarted? What you think?
If you just bombed out, I'd say start first in the simulator because
Mm-hmm.
trading is super emotional.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to answer your question, but I just want to say that for
No, you
everybody
good. No, you
listening.
good. You good.
If you lose a lot, like, and I've done it, like I've literally like lost everything on several trades and then had to restart all over again.
Mm-hmm.
But what it can do is to take a really big hit to your confidence.
Yeah.
And then when you're in that mode, you start trying to like make everything work, and you start making mistakes and bad decisions. So I
Yeah.
would say start first with just like $500 and trade in a simulator with
Mm-hmm.
however much money you really want to trade. And
Mm-hmm.
then I would say the next step would be $2,000, and your goal is always to make 1% of your cash amount on a regular basis. So
Right.
when you're trading, start getting really good at having the discipline to make a trade with that 2,000 and get out of it when you're at around $20 of profit, because that's
Mm-hmm.
1%. If you
Yeah.
do that enough times, then you'll start actually having bigger returns on your portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you start learning charts, you'll learn more about, like, okay, I can let this trade ride a little bit. It has the potential to make $60 on this
Right.
trade versus the 20.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're after a loss, the biggest thing is you got to build back up your confidence and your discipline. So start small and then be really good at having discipline in your trades, and
Yeah.
then you can start trading with more money again. So I
Love it.
hope that helps.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect, especially because if you see from Walt Bill 1972, he says, "I appreciate all the value we're both providing." He's new to this, like a lot of people are, I'm sure, that's listening, considering they don't really know what to do. They're so tight with their money because they don't want to lose it. What I mean? So this has definitely been dope. So if y'all have any more questions for Terry, I'm going to drop it in the comment section. I got a couple more, Terry.
Okay.
This is from Carol. He says, "What's the name of the products you mentioned?" I think that might have been talking about my wife's stuff. That might have been
Okay. Okay.
and so it's Joe Bell. So it's Cajun. So Jeaux Bell Naturel. So for those who are asking, go and look that up on there and everything. And then Terry, my question for you is, if you can go back in time, what is one thing you can possibly change when you got first started or anything like that? Would you kind of, what, I should have did that. I would have been more successful. Is there anything you could have changed or anything like that?
Yes, I was looking at Amazon when it was $199. I wish I had done that.
Yeah.
And when I first started, they were debating if Apple would go over $100. This is like before several of their stock splits. Like after
Yeah.
that, it went to $700 and then had a split and then went back up and had a split. So I wish I had done that. Um, but I think the biggest lesson for myself is be loyal to your bank account and not a stock.
Love it.
When I was first trading, I was really loyal to PayPal. No, not PayPal. Pandora, the radio.
The music, yeah, the
Pandora,
music streamers.
yes. Because I just thought like, oh, it's going into cars, it's on TVs, it's on cell phones, it's going to be the next big thing. But I forgot about YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, all the competitors. And I was so loyal to Pandora that even as I saw its stock price coming down and down, I wouldn't get out of the trade. And I wish that I had been more loyal to my bank account and said, you know what, if it comes down past this, I'm getting out of every trade. I don't care what it is, because I want my account to stay above this number instead of just really being honed in on that one company. And so I would say that for any trader right now, be careful that you're loyal to your account and your money, overall portfolio, versus just one stock or company.
Love it. Love it. Love it. That's great advice. Make sure you pay attention to that bank account. That's pretty much I go for that. Like, stick with it. Don't be diving in too hard. Think you're just going to have a big come up and then boom, the whole bottle falls out and you're sitting there broke. So that's definitely great advice right there, Teri. I got a question from Greg Alexander, 31. He says, when will the market rise back?
So nobody can tell you timing. If any investing teacher comes and says, well, it'll happen tomorrow, don't even listen to them, because we don't know. But I will tell you that I saw a lot of stocks come into a buyer's level recently, like even today. Do we know if that level will hold? And what do I mean when I say buyer's level? That means that in the past, this level has been where big banks like investment banks have come in and purchased stocks, and we saw that in the past. So this could be a place where big banks will purchase again a lot of the stocks I've been watching. However, the interest rates are rising. And as interest rates rise, the stock market will probably continue to fall a little bit, or at least stay lower. So we really don't know when that will change. It's just about being consistent with your trading plan and your trading strategy.
I have a question. When it comes to that, I mean, like obviously I'm just starting. I'm still kind of a bit, so I'm very conservative. So when do you think is the right point to get aggressive and just start, not to say going crazy, but okay, cool. Now I feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more aggressive when it comes to trading and even investing.
I think after you take the course, so after you take trading,
great plug.
Education will change everything. Like if you're super aggressive and you really don't know what you're doing, then that's not the time to get aggressive. But after you've like taken a course, done some practices in a simulated account, like seen yourself be consistent and making good money there, then you can start being more aggressive with your own money. And know that the market will be around. Like a mentor of mine, the best thing he told me was, Teri, you're going to be an investor for a long time. So you don't have to trade right now. Like this is the last time you're ever going to be able to trade. Like,
you got time because they ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we think, well, this is the last opportunity. I'm going to miss it. Nope, you're good. Like you got time.
Love it. I got a time for a few more questions. This is from David Sales NY. This is a really good question. He says, how do you manage your time with real estate and trading and everything else you got going on? Very good question.
Great question. And I'll tell you the truth, like last year I tried to do it all and I did get burned out. So I'd wake up super early in the morning. So I'd wake up at 7 a.m. and then here in Central Time, the market opens at 8:30. So I would trade starting at 8, a little before the market, all the way to about 11. And then I'd have to put on my CEO hat for trade and travel and have to like answer all my staff. And then at night, I was coaching at 7 p.m. at night on student coaching calls. And so I was running these like 16-hour days and it was tough. So what I've done this year, I've been more intentional about. I'm still trading every day, but I'm trading more like swing trades versus trying to day trade. Still same strategy, and you can use the same trade and travel strategy for day trades or swing trades. But I've decided to do trades that are a little longer so that I don't have to watch them as closely. And then, like on my CEO hat, I'm building out a team so that I can actually get some help and not have to do everything by myself. So everything in the different businesses now, I'm trying to learn how to like do it with more than just me, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. Do you feel like you get overwhelmed at times to the point where you just need to shut it down? You know what I mean?
Oh yes, I do. I ran. So I ran away to Mexico at the end of the year.
Come on, you did the Ted Cruz on me? No, let's not play. Let me get off that. My fault. My fault.
Right. But yeah, like in December, I was just like, no, if I don't leave right now, I am gonna just fire everybody and go live on the beach by myself. Yeah. So like I was like, okay, I'm buying this ticket. 2 days later, I was in Mexico on the beach. Like it was great. Yeah. But so yes, there are times where I do get overwhelmed, but I don't think that's just because I'm a trader. I think it's because I'm now the owner of an 8-figure business. Like I'm building like an empire, which is kind of crazy. And I've had to realize that, like, okay, Teri, there's seasons. Like you can focus on this right here, then you got to focus on this, and kind of allow myself to breathe and not have to do everything 100% all the time. So that's what I'm learning now.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. So I'm gonna do 2 more questions. One question is from Dre74M. He says, should I enroll in the trade and travel and the VIP course at the same time?
So you actually only need to enroll in the VIP because the trade and travel is part of VIP. So VIP is 8 weeks, and the first 4 weeks of that is trade and travel. Or now we're starting to say it's like the standard, and then 8 weeks is the VIP. But you only need to do the VIP, and it'll have it all in there.
Yeah, love it, love it, love it. And then this last one is from Lori Planet. She says, "What is the difference between your 2 courses?" I think did you kind of answer that or a little bit?
I did, but we could do it just in case anybody is late. So the whole course, and I'm turning this way, but really I can look here. So the whole course is 8 weeks. And the first week starts with that intro to the stock market, like how to pick the company. Then we go into risk management and charting. And then we put it together in my trading plan. So that's the first 4 weeks. Then the second 4 weeks is more VIP. So it's how do you make money when the market is falling, gaps and blowbacks, and options. So if you really want to be able to trade to leave your job like I did, I'd say do the whole eight week program, because that's like everything I do. But if you're like, you know what, I'm just starting, let me just get the first half, that's totally fine. You can start with the first 4 classes of trade and travel and then upgrade to VIP later. So either one's fine.
Got you. That's perfect. Let me ask this one question from my guy. He actually put me on with a lot of stocks, so I got to shout out to my man Arthur Lumsey Jr. He says, "What are your thoughts on investing in precious metals and bullion? Bullion. I don't know what that is. Bullion. What's that?"
He might have been trying to say Bitcoin.
Okay.
Let me see.
Yeah, Arthur Lumsey's like kind of towards the end.
Oh, metals like bullion. Okay. So to tell you the truth, Arthur, I don't. So I know you're talking about like silver and gold. And I know that those are good hedges, especially like if the market's falling. A lot of times people will invest in gold. I personally haven't been investing that way. I still invest in stocks and options, and then I'll just short when the market is falling. So I haven't been using those as a hedge.
Gotcha. Shout out to Cujo at 1986. Help me out on the pronunciation on that thing. You know what I mean? Appreciate it. Hey, I'm new to this stuff, man. So I'm still trying. Man. Well, Teri, this has been phenomenal. This has been such a great, conversation in terms of, just teaching me and also teaching everybody who's trying to get more familiar in terms of the stock and investments. And, Teri, I just want to congratulate you and salute you on everything, not only as you're doing as an entrepreneur, but as a Black woman, and you're inspiring, you're serving as a role model for other people. And I'm just lucky that I'm even to be talking to you here tonight. You took time out of your busy schedule. You're running an 8-figure business. You're doing a whole bunch of things. And I'm just so thankful for you today.
I had to come. You're my Concord family.
Oh
I
yeah,
had to
yeah,
show up for you.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. We grown people. That's what we do. We grown people. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Exactly. And then your wife is gonna help me with my hair and everything, so we good.
Hey, hey, man. Then shoot, you can come over here and watch the baby. Well, I watch the baby. Y'all can talk about all that kind of stuff, and y'all get together
That'd
and do
be
all
awesome.
that.
That'd be awesome.
Yes,
All
man.
right. Thank
Uh,
you.
no, thank you, Terry. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
righty.
Talk to you
All righty.
later.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye bye. All right, y'all. That was my girl Teri Ijeoma. Phenomenal episode, man. Thank y'all for joining, man. Like I said, this is more so of a tutorial and a learning course for me. I mean, I know I had a lot of good questions. Y'all did too. So definitely thank y'all for hopping in and joining in. Before I get out of here, I just want to plug two businesses. First one is Bull Young Bourbon, which is my younger brother's bourbon. Make sure y'all follow that right now. It's available in Chicago and in Delaware, and you can get it online in certain states. So make sure y'all plug in, check that out. Again, that's Bull Young Bourbon. That's my younger brother, Chef Daniel Bullock. He actually cooks as well. So if you want to book him for a meal or something like that, make sure you go check him out and follow him on Instagram at Chef Danny Bullock. And secondly, I want to plug my wife's business as well. That's Joe Bell's Naturals. You can check him out. I mean, you can follow her page at Joe Bells. That's JEAUX Bells Naturals, and check that out on that one. Dre 74M. So his IG is Chef Danny Bullock, DANNYBULOCK. And in terms of his bourbon, Bull Young Bourbon, that's BULLYONG Bourbon, and make sure you check that out. Hey, Michelle, yeah, definitely check that out. He actually has it at a good shout out to Britt too. Hey, Michelle, so you can actually buy Bull Young Bourbon at Creston Liquors in Middletown. So make sure you go check that out as well. Shout out to my sister-in-law for dropping the tags on them and helping everybody out. Shout out to Britt. I don't feel like typing right now since I'm talking right now. So, and man, if y'all have any questions for me in terms of how I can get better on this podcast, definitely let me know. Definitely make sure y'all hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. It's definitely been one of my favorite shows as well. So if y'all have any more questions for Terry, going to hit her up. Check out our website and make sure y'all hop in and do all that other good stuff in terms of trying to learn more about stocks and investments. So for the Crunch Time Instagram Live podcast, for me, your